Happy New Year, everyone! Welcome to 2022. I still think the name sounds really futuristic. Hello, welcome. This is the last vlog for my December TBR trail that I was doing. Yeah, so I totally failed on the last vlog of the year. It just got super busy. Luckily for me, like, I saw quite a lot of family over Christmas, which was good. And it was really nice and stuff, but things were just busy and just, you know what it's like. So anyway, I had a good time, but I didn't vlog, unfortunately. But I just wanted to wrap up kind of what I read for the month and yeah, just let you know how the rest of my reading went, basically. Of course, I also need to let you know who won my giveaway that I was doing for the end of TBR Trail 2. So I'll do that in a sec. And I also needed to complete one more challenge. My last challenge was to recommend another booktuber. And also, because at the end of TBR Trail, I wanted to make a donation to some sort of bookish charity, which I did as well. Let's do my giveaway first. So I went on at noon on January 1st. I closed the giveaway and I went on to random comment picker and chose a winner. So I'll put the screenshot just here so you can see who won. And it was Amy from A Star Reads. Congratulations, Amy. I've been in contact with Amy already and let her know. And the books that she chose are on the way over to America right now, which is very exciting. Thank you so much to everyone who entered the giveaway, and thank you to everyone who watched TBR Trail as well. I really appreciate it, and I really appreciate all the support that you guys give me. But yeah, I really enjoyed playing TBR Trail last year, and I'm really looking forward to my new TBR game, which is called Tales from Two Trails, which is coming out, well, which I'll start playing at the end of this month, ready for February. I'm so excited about that. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Okay, let's talk about the books that I read in December. So I think last vlog that I did, I wrapped up, I finished The Disordered Cosmos. Just gonna check my list. I think since the last time we spoke, I finished Dragonhaven by Robin Hobb. This is the second book in the Rainwild Chronicles. This is 2 of 4. And yeah, I liked this book. I love being in this world so much. But for me, like, the enjoyment wasn't quite there as with the other books. I always say with a lot of Robin Hobb's books that, you know, you kind of have to work for the big payoff at the end. And I felt there wasn't a big payoff at the end of this one. So although the writing is really great and the characters are interesting and things did happen, there were events that went on, there wasn't that big payout. And so for me it was slightly less enjoyable than the other books in the series that I've read so far. I mean, like, the overall Realm of the Elderling series. I'm still giving it 4 stars, so I did really like it, but yeah, it just didn't quite reach that 5-star status for me this time round, unfortunately. Although the dragons are cool. I love the dragons. Then I did finish listening to The Christmas Escape. I really wasn't taken with this one, to be honest. So this is a romance, and I don't usually read romances, but it's about a group of friends, really, that go to Lapland over in Sweden. I thought it was in Finland, but it's actually in Sweden. And yeah, there's some like marital problems going on with the married couple, and then there's another romancy going on between 2 other people, and there's all this kind of shared history amongst all of them. And yeah, I don't know, I really loved the setting. I loved hearing about Lapland and reading about the Northern Lights and like snow-covered trees and just really beautiful landscapes. I love that kind of thing, to be honest. I'm completely in my element if I'm surrounded by snow in a cold country. So yeah, absolutely loved that part. I thought it was quite atmospheric at times. There was quite a bit of mystery to this book, to be fair. So one of the characters, Christy, her aunt is the person that owns the cabins where they've gone to stay in Lapland. And there's this whole kind of mystery as to why her aunt and her mum had this big bust up years ago and why her aunt was never in her life. And that's quite an interesting side to the story, like finding out why and what's happened, although it's kind of underwhelming for me, to be perfectly honest. I kind of wanted more from that part. And the rest of it was a lot of kind of working through problems in friendships and it was, I don't know, it wasn't as light-hearted as maybe as I wanted it to be. It wasn't quite as fun as maybe as I wanted it to be. One of the main characters, Alex, I didn't really like. There was a couple of things she did where I really just wanted to give her a bit of a shake and say, stop it now, come on. And Christy, the other character, is one of these It's just somebody who really struggles to speak her mind and like stand up for herself. And while I can kind of sympathise with that, I find it frustrating to read about characters like that because I can't quite relate to it. And that sounds mean because I know there's plenty of people out there who do struggle with confrontation and struggle to say what they mean, and that's absolutely fine. I have many friends that are like that. But to read about it, for me, I find frustrating because I always say what I think. And I just think, oh, just get it out in the open, just say what you mean and move on, which is definitely not always the best tactic. So even though that's how I feel, and even though I feel I would always just say exactly what I mean, I'm not saying that's the right thing to do, but that's just always what I do. And so I find it frustrating to read about. I probably need to grow a bit more empathy for characters like that, because it is difficult to say what you mean. And sometimes it's not appropriate to say what you mean. That's all kind of leading up to say is that I didn't love the book, but I did finish it. At one point I was thinking about DNFing it, but no, I pushed through and really loved reading about the setting. I thought it was really a beautiful place to read about, which was good. Then the last book that I had to read for TBR Trail was one picked by Mum, and that was Smut by Alan Bennett. And I'm not going to lie, I did DNF this. Now, I didn't DNF it midway through a story. There's 2 stories in here, and I read the first one and then stopped. The first one was most of the book, although technically I did start the second one and then I couldn't be bothered to read it. Yeah, so I read up to page like 114, really. That's the first story in this little book. There's just a tiny story left. This was a weird story. It was funny. Okay, so you're following Mrs. Donaldson. Mrs. Donaldson is a widow and she needs a bit of cash, extra cash, to help her pay the bills and stuff like that. And so she gets herself a job at the hospital, where she is the person who pretends to be ill so the students can learn, so at a teaching hospital. And that side of things is pretty funny, to be fair. Like, her having to come up with these characters, and the kind of head teacher doctor person has a crush on her and gets her to play tricks on the students and stuff like that, like doesn't tell them what's going on and doesn't tell some of the other actors what's going on either. So that bit is quite a funny part of the book. She also has these 2 lodgers living with her, which her daughter massively doesn't approve of. She doesn't want her having students in the house, but she has a couple of like young 20-year-olds in the house with her. But they're really not paying the rent. They're kind of skipping out every few months and stuff, and she's trying to be polite and be like, I want the rent, you know, you need to pay me. And so eventually they approach her and they offer her something else that isn't money in order to pay their rent. You can probably guess pretty much what that thing is. That part of it was, I kind of expected something like that to happen. It's called Smut. And yeah, that scene was done in quite a funny way. Like, it was funny to watch Mrs. Donaldson, who's trying to be polite, prim and proper in this scenario with these 2 very liberated young people. And so it kind of was enjoyable to go along. But then I felt like, for me, I stopped kind of enjoying it as much because there was a couple of instances where, I don't know if there was like not really consent. At one instant there seemed like to be absolutely 0 consent, and that scene was quite weird. And then it happened again in another situation, and I was like, I mean, I don't know. I know that these things do happen, but I felt like it was kind of, I wish it wasn't there, because it was such a light-hearted book, and then to have this undercurrent of horribleness was kind of weird for me. But maybe I missed a deeper message in it and I should have taken something more out of those parts. But for me, it just made the book a bit less enjoyable. But yeah, so this wasn't really a hit for me, sadly. But I probably will try more of Alan Bennett stuff in the future. Anyway, yeah, so those were the 3 books that I think I finished since we last spoke. And then the other 3 that I read during this month was The Disordered Cosmos, which I loved. Piranesi, which... Oh yeah, I learned that it's not called Piranesi, it's called Piranesi, so I think I've been pronouncing that wrong. Anyway, Piranesi, which I pretty much loved most of it, and also How the Grinch Stole Christmas, which I loved too. That was really fun. So yeah, it was a fun reading month in December. I really did enjoy it. I enjoyed playing the game as I went along. Because it was the end of TBR Trail, in addition to my giveaway, I also wanted to do a donation, and so I had a bit of a look around because I wanted it to be a book charity. And the book charity that I chose ended up being a London-based charity. So the charity that I decided to donate to is called Doorstep Library, and they go and visit families who need extra support, and they take books to the children, read the books to them, encourage the children to read to them, and pick books that they would like to read in the future. So I think volunteers go every single week to the same children and just read with them. Sometimes children's parents don't know how to read themselves, and so their parents can't read with them, so it's nice to have other people kind of come in, and then they can also give support to the adults in the house as well. It's a very, very small charity at the moment. They only do certain places within London, but it does seem like they're expanding out, and now because of COVID they did have online volunteers as well, so there was that part of it. I saw a tweet from a cafe where they had them come in with books and stuff, so it seems like it's quite a nice up and coming local charity. Local to me, obviously. So anyway, if you are interested in it, if you live in the area or interested in what they do, then I'll link their website down below if you wanted to take an extra look. Then I think before I go, I'm going to recommend my next recommended booktuber to you guys. And actually I'm going to recommend you two people, because one is like big and you probably already know about them already, but I absolutely love their channel, and that is Sid Bookworm. You probably already know who she is because she's got loads of subscribers, but honestly, if you don't know who she is for some reason, her TBR game is so much fun. She plays Spin the Bottle, and yeah, it's always good, always funny, it's always excellent. So I thought I'd recommend Sydney to you in case you didn't know. At the moment, her and her partner are renovating this house as well, so there's a few renovating house videos that they're putting out, and I'm actually finding those quite interesting to watch, even though they're not about books. So yeah, really good, really fun channel. I recommend that highly. But the other slightly smaller channel that I wanted to recommend to you guys is Josh's Bookish Voyage, which I've been a subscriber to him for a while, but I don't watch his videos enough because every time I do, I'm reminded as to why his videos are so good. So Josh is a scientist, I think he's an astrophysicist, and he does read quite a lot of sciencey type books. I actually heard about the Disordered Cosmos because of watching his channel, and yeah, I just really like his videos. He's got a really nice personality. He also reads a lot of non-fiction that's unscience related. He reads a lot of fantasy, sci-fi, and kind of general fiction as well, I think, a lot of it. And yeah, I just find his videos really interesting to watch, and I like his channel a lot, so I thought I would put it out there because I know that a lot of you guys out there also like reading about science and non-fiction books too. So if you haven't heard of him, he's definitely a good guy to go to for recommendations. But yeah, that's it, I think, for wrapping up 2021. I'm gonna have one more video where I chat about 2021 books, and that's just gonna be summing up my reads over the last year and just like books that were my favourites, books that were disappointing, etc, etc. Just a kind of general overview of how my reading went in 2021. But yeah, so thank you so much for watching, guys. Again, congratulations to Amy from A Star Reads. If you haven't watched Amy's channel, please do, she's awesome. And yeah, I will link her channel down below as well. I hope everyone's doing well. If you celebrate Christmas, I hope you had a lovely time. And yeah, I hope everybody has a lovely start to their 2022. Take care, everyone. Bye.